both of those
31, yeah.
ages are well within a time zone where you can improve, and age will not stop you. Especially if you are, you know. Thank you, Conan. So again, him getting older doesn't instantly mean he gets worse. Depends on the individual, depends on the age, and if you're going from 22 to 30, that you are well within the ability to improve dramatically in that time. It's not like he's going from 30
Yeah, but the data doesn't show that in this sport. This is what I'm saying.
The only data that you've given me is his run in 83 and his run in 91. Okay?
Yeah, but you are saying basically, yeah, sure. I mean, he was winning many medals during his career, right? But we are comparing him before and after the diet.
Right.
Like that's the thing. And you are saying,
no, we're not.
and you are saying
No, we're not comparing that at all. We're comparing his 1983 run to his 1999 run. That is, and you want to ignore 7 years of training.
Sure, we can compare the 1988 run if you want.
Okay, okay, so his first run was in 83, 10.06. In 1988, he ran better, but he wasn't vegan then.
Yeah, and then when he was on the vegan diet, he said his personal best.
Improved. According to you, he couldn't improve.
No,
so
why?
What happened?
Why?
You said there's no. Okay, you stated.
Why? It's only 5 years. He was still in his 20s. He was still in his 20s, though.
Hold on. So what?
Yeah, it's a big difference. It's a big difference.
No, what I'm telling you is that is not a fair statement. Okay, again, first things first, you stated that what mattered for him to reduce his time was going vegan, right? That was 1 year. However, we have just demonstrated that his times were improving in a actually pretty reasonable rate from 10.06 to 9.92. That's an impressive improvement, and he wasn't vegan.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, he improved that one for sure.
Your argument's moot because there's no evidence right here that that 1 year of vegan made the miraculous change. It looks to me like he did a gradual
change. He says so.
He may have.
He says so.
Huh? I don't trust his opinion.
Well, then we cannot argue the proposition when you don't trust his opinion. How you want me to show you an athlete that went vegan and his results improved? And you are saying, okay, well,
you have to have what you need to do is demonstrate a series of performances, right, over time, before and then after. Okay, and you have to actually demonstrate, okay, that when somebody goes vegan after that time frame, their results dramatically improve. What I am seeing here is far more linear, of somebody training hard and constantly working and constantly improving. So
yeah, obviously he trains hard if he wants to compete in those events.
Yeah, obviously. Best technique. Conan mentions the best technique, the fastest, and I did it at 30. So, because that's a good point. Also, it's not just diet; it's technique. So
yeah, of course, I can agree that his technique improves, but the sport is physical.
Right.
This is what I'm saying.
What's your point? I don't know what your point is calling it physical. I think that was established. The thing is that you have not demonstrated, because you have ignored 7 years of further improvement that has nothing to do with his diet. You have attributed all of his success to 1 year when he was.
He did.
I do not necessarily view his opinion of an athlete who is not educated on the topic.
So the result wouldn't matter in your opinion. No, he decided himself. It wasn't the dietitian, as far as I know. But whatever. So you are saying
basically, he didn't have a dietitian helping him. I bet you he did.
I don't know if he had. He said he made the decision himself. So I don't know if that decision is provocated by a dietitian.
I'm not saying the decision was the dietitian's, but the dietitian is still going to guide him. Oh, look at that. 1987, 9.93. Great improvement. Not as good as his,
of course. I mean, he's in his prime. What do you expect? He's in his prime. 20,
Yeah, but he
26,
never.
7 years.
Is that he
That's
was
your
still in his
prime.
prime, but he's still in his prime at 30. You don't just suddenly fall off and become nothing at 30, dude. I'm more
Yeah, but
physically fit now at 38 than I was when I was 30.
right,
So
but compared to 10 years ago, the
I'm
age,
more physically
you
fit now
don't,
than I was
wait,
then.
wait, wait. So
100%.
basically you're saying the age is not a confounder when it comes to professional sports.
It depends on the age. It depends on the age, the sport, how well the individual
Yeah,
functions,
and we are
their
comparing
individual
somebody
genetics.
that's 22. We are comparing somebody that's 22 and 27 to somebody that's 31 in a 100-meter track.
And yet he wins.
He
There are
wins him.
people.
He
There are
wins. He
people.
wins
Okay.
compared to himself. Yeah.
And he won the gold medal and made, the world record. So,
Yeah.
and there's not many people we can compare him to. But at the
No.
same
We compare him.
time,
We want to be fair, and we compare him to him before the diet and him after the diet.
no, we have to make a proper longitudinal study of all of his runs up to that point. If there is a noticeable improvement after that 1 year that all 7 of the prior years did not demonstrate, then you can make your argument. But you don't have the data from the other years. You're ignoring it because that's all you care about because it
I'm
fits
not
into your
ignoring it.
narrative. You
No.
are.
No. No. No.
You
No. No. No.
simply stated
No.
that
No. 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 No.
he
No.
did
No.
so much. You ignored it at the beginning of this statement when I asked what happened in those 7 years, and you said it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because we are comparing what happened after the diet, right?
No, I am attributing his final result after the diet to 8 years of training. You are attributing 1 year of vegan diet reducing his time from 10.06 to 9.86, which, as we have demonstrated, is not true. And you don't have the data to back that up.
It is true, though. How you're saying it's not true. Wait, do you believe that diet doesn't impact your performance?
Of
Let's get
course it
into
does.
that then.
Of course it does, but
Sure.
the problem is you are
So
attributing.
did the.
No, hold on. You are attributing 8 years of improvement, recorded improvement. The man was improving even when he wasn't a vegan for 8 years. You are stating that all of that improvement, those faster runs, all of them are meaningless except for the ones after he became a vegan.
No, that's incorrect. You're twisting
You
my words.
just said that, dude. You
Let me
have to
let
be
me
consistent.
elaborate. Let me elaborate on what I said and what he said because that's important. He said he hit his best after the vegan diet, and he attributes his success to the diet. This is what he
Okay.
said himself. I'm not saying
That's
he
fine,
didn't.
but he's an athlete, not a doctor or dietitian. I don't consider his words to be concrete on this matter.
So would you think if he stayed on the same diet, he would have the same result?
There's no
Because I
way for
don't
me to
think
know
so.
that. There is
Yeah,
literally
I
no
don't
way to
think
know
so.
that. Pure speculation. He could, as SD says, he attributes it to the vegan diet. He could also attribute it to his magic socks or to God or to any other thing.
Well,
There is no way because,
maybe he has a reason to make that statement.
of course, he has a reason to make that statement. It doesn't make the reason a good one.
So are you thinking if he was on any other diet, junk food diet, he would still improve? Of course you don't, right?
That is a complete unfair statement. I never said junk food. You did. The issue here is that there is absolutely no evidence with this individual, I would say. There may be evidence in others, but the evidence you have provided here is non-conclusive because he was showing
What
a
kind of
marked,
evidence do
and
you need? What
I
kind of
already told
evidence
you,
you will need?
over the course of a individual athlete's prime of career, if you insist, show their improvement over time and then mark off where they became a vegan and show their results afterwards. And if there is a marked, if there is a marked improvement, and this is not just one guy, you have to do it with multiple across multiple fields. Okay,
Yeah,
because you never
we
specified
can
which
go and
ones.
get
If there is a
we
marked
can get
improvement across all of these fields, then you would have your evidence.
we can go and get all
But
the
you don't
vegan
have
athletes and we
evidence
track.
here. You have
Well,
one
the
year of
evidence
vegan
is their
and then
performance,
7
my
years of
guy.
improvement without it.
The evidence is well, you're saying, you know, The evidence here are the results in the end, aren't they? Like, what other
No, that's
evidence
not
you
what I
want?
said. I told you what evidence that I wanted. You don't have that evidence. That's the problem. So I'm not saying that you are inherently wrong. I'm saying you are coming here with an anecdotal piece of data. You need a lot more, and you
Yeah,
need it to
about
be a
him,
lot
yeah.
more high resolution. I
Yeah,
need to
about him,
see
yeah.
run times before, during, and after the man was a vegan, constantly compare it to other people with similar run times who have not taken a vegan diet and those that are entirely vegan. You must demonstrate unequivocally that this is true. But the word of an athlete means effectively the argument of a individual
Yeah,
that
yeah. Listen,
probably didn't pass
listen.
high school.
I
No
agree
offense
that
to him, he's an excellent
I
athlete,
agree
but he
that
doesn't have
I agree that
any
the
knowledge
evidence
of the
is
details of the
anecdotal.
situation at hand. He can
Sure,
attribute it
sure.
to anything. I want to know what his trainer, his dietitian, and everything else has to say on it.
Yeah, of course, if he had a dietitian on that time. But sure, I would agree here that the evidence are anecdotal, but the result is still there. This is it what it is.
Well, if
But
the evidence is anecdotal, the
what
result is
I'm
meaningless for the argument. That's the thing. If you're accepting that it's anecdotal, then your evidence is meaningless.
well, he said it's anecdotal. I mean, he said it himself, and that's the evidence that he
Which
attributed the
it's still
success to the
anecdotal
diet.
because he's not an expert in the area.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Let's get into the actual science of it.
Just a
Okay.
quick mod note. No long sentence, but how long do you guys want to go for? Have you both got enough time left?
Leave pretty soon. SD, unfortunately, I do have to leave soon. I am still on the clock.
Okay, no worries.
So I do apologize. This is not because I'm trying to run away, but I am legitimately on the clock.
No,
so...
I think you are making a great arguments that the evidence here is anecdotal, and even if the result improved, like we don't know what the other confounders are, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying
Yeah.
is let's get to the actual scientific evidence of how the diet improves the performance. Because here I'm going to say, hey, he was older, therefore he should be weaker. And you're going to say, well, he had better technique and he's been working hard, so he's not weaker. And, we are getting nowhere with this.
I think it's safe to say that he is, just because he's old, doesn't mean he's weak. And he is not old. He's still well within his prime. The argument that you can't do sports after 30, there are a lot of athletes that prove that wrong.
Sure.
Now,
I
they're a
didn't
small
make that
number.
argument. What I'm saying is
Yes, you
that.
did. You said that as you get older, you get weaker, and therefore he should have been
Yeah.
worse. My argument is he is
Yeah, of course.
nowhere near old enough for the effect of geriatrics to kick in and harm his times. Maybe
Yeah,
in
but
another
usually.
5 years after his run, then he'd start suffering those issues, but not
Right,
at
right.
30.
Right. Let me clarify what I'm saying. The most of athletes in those sports usually set the records in their 20s.
You're breaking up like crazy, man.
SD, can you hear me clear?
Yes, I can hear you clear.
No, go ahead. I can hear you now.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that the majority of the athletes in that field usually hit their personal best in their 20s.
Well, he's an exception.
I wonder why.
Genetics, bro. Some
Of
people
course, Of course, you're gonna say that. But anyway, let's get to the evidence.
How is it wrong? There are just some people
you
who
could be
maintain
wrong.
that for long. I
You
could be.
you could be right. You
But
could
I
be
would
wrong. I
say
mean,
if
we
we're going
don't
to go
know.
by Occam's razor, it's more likely. There are just some people that last longer and better. Look at Brett Favre. That guy's going to die on the damn field at this point. Anyway, guys, I have to go due to work. Thank you all very much, Bad Kid. Excellent
Thank you, man.
debate.
Really, really good talking to you. I would really want to expand on the actual evidence because obviously you won't accept athletes that got their performance improved and they attribute that to their nutrition. So I think we should get to the actual science of it, right?
Well, there's plenty of other people who are happy to talk with you about it here.
Yeah.
Thank you all very much, and
Thank you.
have a great day.
Yeah,
you
and
too.
to you. I realised Dread has left the room, but he'll probably listen to the recording. Thank you, Dread, for popping along to have that discussion. This went much better than anticipated. So I guess now what we can do, because BadKidPk... Sorry, is that how I'm supposed to say your name? Is it BadKidPk?
That's perfect, yeah.
Okay. You said you had quite a bit of time available this evening, and we've got...
Yes.
Okay, cool. So there's several other people in the room, so I think we can open it up to other people, perhaps, if you're game for that.
Sure.
Right, so anybody who... There might be a bit of a delay in voices coming through, but anybody who wants to discuss with BadKidPk, or Conan, yeah, if you want to discuss with him, you can unmute yourself. So Conan has something to say or ask, I guess. Go ahead, Conan.
Yeah, two things. First, League of Legends has an athletic component to it, and I would argue that that component is on par with some Olympic sports like shooting or similar.
And
That's
what's the athletic element?
Sorry, what?
What's the athletic element in League of Legends?
You need to have extreme precision of mouse, and you need very good reflexes.
Right, but normally this is not what people would refer to when they say athleticism.
Oh well,
because in League of Legends you're comparing. It's a strategy game. How you would position yourself. You are not competing. You are not competing with the.
There is also a component of how well you can execute moves and how fast you can
Gilly, it's not an Olympic sport.
Yeah, but ski shooting is. So, and I think that those two are comparable. That's one part. The second part is I think that there is a clear line of improvement and progression for this athlete in question. It is
for
shown.
Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis. And I think that I'm going to say when he did attribute his success to veganism, because after 91, his times decreased drastically. And because I suspect with what Liz posted that he over exaggerated his importance of veganism in his success in 91 and
because he was the
marketing potential of it.
Because he was the face of let me see what Lizzie said. He was he was promoting soy. Yeah, for sure. This is what I'm saying. Let's look into the actual data.
Yeah, so there is a clear financial motive for him to attribute his success not to his better technique or better readiness or simply a fluke of luck that race was his fastest ever. And to stitch it on veganism. When veganism did not help him in 92 or later in his career.
Yeah. This is his personal best that he set, and I don't think he set in the 100 meters any other personal best.
Yeah,
but the thing is, right? Like the thing what I'm saying is, when did he say what?
Yeah, what year did he say it? Did he say that in 91 or did he say it in 2004?
As far as I know, when I've been looking at Lewis, I know that he made those type of statements before 2015 for sure.
Well, that can be both 91 and 2004 when he was a face of.
It could have been, yeah.
I think that for you to be 100% honest and sure, if you in your own argument, you should find out, because financial motivation can be very strong.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Let's well, if you don't want, because you guys wanted to look at the athletes, I showed you athletes, and you guys say, well, okay, you're showing us athletes, but this one in particular,
you show
this
us
one in
athlete one.
yeah, but you guys gonna make the same argument. You're gonna say they have financial, relationships. You're gonna say they have. How is it called, other motives.
Well,
They've been improving in a linear lane. So let's get into the actual evidence why the plant-based diet is beneficial.
well, we can say how it's beneficial, but I think Dread's critique was valid. First of all, you yourself restrict yourself to a very small sample size. That's first thing. Second thing, you are unable to do experiments on that sample size. That's the second problem. And the third problem is, I mean, when I say experiments, I mean you cannot do clinical studies in which you control for other factors which can aid or embed.
That's how the randomization controls. It controls for known and unknown confounders. That's the point of the randomized clinical trial, though.
Yeah, but you are not carrying research on that scale because you don't have the sample size to address this.
Wait, what do you mean? I have a lot of research that I would like to present.
Well, I would love to see those research, and especially on Olympic athletes.
Yeah, sure. There is a lot of research, and which point you want to focus on? I want to focus on the impairment of the endothelial function, where they compare an animal-based meal with a plant-based one, and they measure the results.
I would love to see what you sent, and
Sure.
when I read, and probably not right now, I will yield the floor to somebody else, but then I will possibly offer critique.
Yeah, of course. Hold on, let me pull out the actual study.
While you are looking, I will start. Does anybody else has any questions? You can type in VC text and I will unmute you.
Yes, so I'll post the study and I will say why am I citing it, okay? So here is the study, and in this study they compare two meals that are adjusted for calories, both 803 calories, and one of the study consists of 110 grams of rice, 100 grams of Korean barbecue, 20 grams egg, 200 milliliters
Yeah, I'm
milk.
not interested. I'm just interested in sample sizes and that's and the method of tax administration. I'm not really interested in specifics.
Yeah, like Conan said, just to echo his sentiment there. If anybody else in the room would like to be unmuted, just say so. You can use VC text. Just say I want to be unmuted. I want to talk. Either of those things or anything along those lines, and we can unmute you because the normal debate is over, so anybody can talk now.
I'm just sad that we couldn't get into the actual scientific evidence, because you guys say, oh, this is anecdotal, I'm gonna move out, and I want to show you actually why there is improvement.
Yes, but did you intend to show it in a non-anecdotal way? Because you've appealed to anecdote twice. I mean, I'm trying desperately not to get involved in this. I'm just trying to moderate fairly. But,
mean age was 56. I don't know how many 56-year-olds are competing in the Olympics.
What are you talking about? The study? No,
Yeah.
here we are talking about the actual diet.
Yeah, but this doesn't pertain to Olympic athletes at all. They are just 20 healthy subjects.
It implicates to pretty much everybody this type of meal. So, do you want to discuss the study or not?
Well, I am not qualified to critique the
work.
Results of the study. I'm only critiquing the methods of the study, and it would not protrude to Olympic athletes, or I wouldn't give much clues to them at all. It would all of this can be attributed can be calculated or accounted for by the dietitians of the particular athlete.
Sorry, I have trouble tracking. I would like to discuss the study if you want. You are saying it's not applicable to athletes. This is the exact type of studies that people show and they say they are applicable to athletes. What's the argument that it's not applicable to any other individual?
First of all, the age of the participants.
Yeah, but this doesn't matter because you would have the same effect if you are 20 and you consume the same meal.
That is, I will have to read. Is that stated in the study or is that stated somewhere else?
We can look at many studies at different people at different age. We can even look at physically active people when they consume same type of meal. The results are pretty much the same. So your critique is, basically they're not doing the test on the athlete, but that doesn't really matter because the result is pretty much the same.
Yeah, but your proposition was about Olympic athletes, right?
Yeah, athletes that compete in Olympic sports and how the diet improves their recovery, yes.
Yeah, so
you guys, so we are not gonna look at athletes because everything that athletes says is anecdotal, and for you this is not proof enough. So I'm saying let's get and see what the science says about it.
Exactly the truth. It is anecdotal what he says. If you have a study,
sure. Well, let's go into the studies there. Why you don't want to go into the studies?
If they repeated this same experiment with 20 Olympic athletes, that would be much more informative than this.
Not when it comes to postprandial hyperglycemia, no.
Okay, if you say so.
All right, so does anybody else want to speak? I'm just trying to, do my best to give everybody a fair chance here. I mean, obviously I can see who's in the room, so anybody
What are we discussing?
else? Patty, do you want to talk?
What are we discussing?
Postprandial hyperglycemia at the moment.
I don't know what the fuck that is. So
postprandial hypoglaucoma.
I don't know what that is.
No, me neither. Nor do I care. But I'm trying to be as fair as possible. Anybody else?
I guess what I would ask. Well, I guess what I would ask is like, what does health have to do with any of it? Any of this like vegan stuff?
Yeah, it's the same angle that I would take, but I'm trying to be extremely fair and impartial, and I'm doing a good job so far. If we want to move on to other topics, we can do that. But yeah, go ahead, Patty and BadKid.
Yeah. So, what does this like vegan stuff have anything to do with? I'm sorry. What is this? The fitness, the eating. What does that have to do with the vegan thing? Because I assume that's like what this conversation is like.
Right, and my argument is that plant-based diets do improve your recovery, and they're much healthier in general for you short-term and long-term. And I just wanted to show the short-term effect.
Okay, great. also, who cares, right?
I'll admit I got the order a little bit wrong because Carefree Traveler would like to say something. I don't know what the something is, but
Oh, apologies.
no, it's fine. It's not your fault. It's my fault. He said, but then like there was a crossover. So I'll unmute Carefree, and Carefree, you are now on the mic. You can say whatever you want.
Cool. Yeah, Bad Kid. I just wanted to say that I think this isn't my wheelhouse, like stats and like nutrition and anything like that. So my conversation isn't really like engaging with that. It's more just as a listener what I was left with that conversation, which is that it seems to me that this athlete had improvement year after year in some sort of like steady metric or what would be considered steady. And then there was a vegan diet that was introduced. And then after that vegan diet, he's reached his best time, right? Or his best accomplishment.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So I think that like what I'm left with there is that if there wasn't a marked like difference year after year, or if it was pretty insignificant, and then after the vegan diet, there was a marked improvement, like a jump in his performance, I would say that would seem to be more tied, or you could tie it more to a big change in the person's lifestyle or their diet, right? But I think that this whole thing of the year and year after year of improving, I don't think that it leaves me with the impression that this can be attributed solely or even in part to the addition of the vegan diet, right?
Right, I see what you're saying, but this we don't know. If he didn't change his nutrition, would he hit the personal best or not? This we don't know. So I'm suggesting I want to make the argument why the vegan diet may have helped him.
Well, we would know that he would have hit the best that he would have hit at least in the year prior, right? We would know that like that was his best before he went on the vegan diet. So we could at least say that that's what it is. I guess we wouldn't know if he didn't continue to perform whether he would have.
I believe the best before that was in 88, I believe. So 83 is one record, 88 is the other record on the 100 meters, and then the 91 is the personal best.
Wait,
1 year after the diet.
Yeah, so just as a listener, just let me say this, and I'm going to mute because this was basically my whole point. Just
no problem.
As a listener, all I'm left with is what I just like stated. And when we say we don't know, or you even say we don't know if he would have hit that, I don't have any real reason to make any sort of jump as to the vegan diet being the thing that made that big difference or that helped him reach that. I'm sorry, helped is not a good word, right? Because everything helps you, like in essence, right? But that it wasn't because of the vegan diet. I just don't see why I would make any sort of jump to say that it would be that. So that was basically my comment, just to say the impression it left on me, right?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and we don't know, but I want to to support the argument why it did help him, right? Like what's behind the vegan diet that maybe helped him, or another plant-based diet. Well, he was specifically on the vegan diet.
Yeah, but it could also be his magic socks, right? Like, I mean, I'm really having to bite my tongue here because I agreed to moderate and not get involved in the debate. But like this has been brought up several times. Like you're just attributing everything that's good to the fact that he went on a vegan diet for what was it, like 7 years or something. Like it could be a
psychosomatic.
Go ahead.
Could be a psychosomatic placebo effect as well, right? Like he just thinks he's on a healthier diet, he feels better. I don't know. Like it could be that too, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I think kind of guys, you're bashing the claim on the age a little bit too hard, because normally in those sports, physical sports I'm talking, you usually set your personal best in your 20s. There are not many people that set their personal best after 30. And the guy says, well, he's not old after he's being 30, but there are just not many people in this field that would hit their personal best after 30s.
Yeah, I'm watching. There's outliers, right? I mean, I'm watching Ronaldo play like right now, right? Like the guy's 37, you know.
Yeah, but again, you're looking at football and you are not looking at the same sport. So I think we should get into the evidence, really. So I can make the case why it helped him battle certain inflammatory process in his body.
Yeah. That's true. It's not the same thing, but I'm just mentioning there are outliers, right? And there's a lot of like different effects. But I mean, anyways, that was my main thing.
All right, no worries, Carefree Traveler. Thank you for your comments. I'm just going to pop you back on mute because I just don't want too much over talking. It's not because you've done anything wrong, okay? So I think Patty wanted to like have a conversation with you, Bad Kid. Is that okay?
So,
yeah.
So I accept that I was a little bit late to the conversation, and so far what I'm understanding is that we are talking about an athlete who this athlete had gone on
Patty, you're lagging.
a vegan, plant-based, or mostly.
Yeah, he's right. You are lagging a bit. Yeah, you are actually.
Can you hear me?
Broken bits. Are you like
I'm driving.
Like, swapping over from your Wi-Fi? Oh, you're in your car. Okay. Well, when
Christie also he was 32.
Can you hear me now?
Won the gold in 100 meter at the Olympics.
Who?
Linford Christie.
Yeah, he's British.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but I'm talking the usual. Of course, there are people that will hit it.
Stefan Barkart was 38.
Well,
Wait, so can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, we can. That's what I was about to say, Conan. If we could just let Paddy and what's the name, Bad Kid.
Yeah, Paddy, go ahead. I'm not sure if I heard your argument.
Well, I haven't made an argument. I'm just asking a question. Is your claim associated? Is your claim that an athlete has done better in regards to, well, him doing better is caused by him switching over to a vegan or mostly plant, possibly vegetarian diet?
Yeah, this is what he says. Yeah.
This is what I'm not gonna lie, I don't care about what he says, right? I care about like something that's the actual truth. Now he can certainly have a bias, which I think I think anybody on their particular diet has a bias in favor of the diet in which they use. Because
by all means.
Yeah. So like, is it the actual case that merely because he's on this diet, that's why he did better?
Exactly. This is what I want to get into. This is what I want to get into, but nobody wants to discuss the actual data of what is the impact of animal-based meal when it comes to athletic performance. This is what I want to get into.
Sure. So what is the impact of an animal-based meal when it comes to performance?
Right. So when it comes to performance, obviously one of the most important thing is flow-mediated dilation, which would be blood flow. This is so because when you perform...
Look, let me just like make something very clear to you, man. I am not in medical sciences. I'm in plant sciences. So I don't understand anything you say when you say something like tubular dysostrophy. I don't know what the fuck that means. So in this conversation, if you can, tone down your IQ 5 points and talk to me like I know nothing about the medical industry.
Yeah, sure. So let me see how I'll frame it correctly. So basically, after animal-based meal, right, that is usually high fat and high protein, and especially high saturated fat, it seems like the body triggers inflammation because of the saturated fat, and probably because of other molecules. We don't know that. And it looks like it impairs the function that is responsible for your arteries to fully open up. And when you do a high intense exercise, your arteries should open as much as they can to provide the blood flow and the oxygen to the hard working muscle. Makes sense how I explain it, Patty?
It makes sense how you explained it. So now what I'm going to ask you is, how much meat do you have to eat in order for you to have your arterial function inhibited?
Yeah, right. So this one study that I'm looking at here right now, it seems they consumed 100 grams of Korean barbecue, 20 grams of eggs, 200 milliliters milk.
What's on Korean barbecue?
I'll check it with you in a moment. And it
I
was
can tell you
25 grams of mayonnaise.
what's on Korean barbecue. So typically what's on Korean barbecue is a whole bunch of sauces. A lot of those sauces contain a lot of sugars. And then what's typically on them is a lot of seasoning. Some of those seasonings may also contain lots of salt and lots of sugars. How do I know that if these people ate Korean barbecue, that there's a likelihood that it could be something else aside from meat that may be causing this issue?
Right, because this happens because of the hyperglycemia, because of the fat of the blood in the blood.
Sure. Say that again.
Hypertriglycemia, HTG.
HTG.
It's glycemia.
I thought so. Hyperglycemia. So hyperglycemia is kind of interesting because I could have sworn that hypoglycemia often has a big relationship with sugars.
It does. It relates to diabetes.
Sure, but we don't see the same effect from the plant-based fat, from the unsaturated fat.
Well, that's not true. People who have problems with regulating sugar go on plant-based diets all the time and often find themselves in a bit of a problem because a lot of plant-based foods have high content of sugar in them. Now, you have to eat a lot of that stuff to actually have that affect you deeply, but there is a bit of regulation with that. So hypoglycemia has a lot to do with the sugar intake within your body. And I think it's totally fair to say that sugar can definitely cause significant problems with your artery function.
Yeah, by all means, but why did the same effect was not observed in the low-fat vegan meal?
Because a low-fat vegan meal probably means that you have a lower intake of sugars.
Actually, the carbohydrates were 178 grams. And the animal-based meal.
Carbohydrates convert to sugars, dude.
Yeah, but the carbs in the animal-based meal were only 50 grams. So in the vegan meal, you have more carbs, and you have more.
Sorry.
You have orange juice. You have apple.
They have
so
less.
There is more sugar in the plant-based meal, though.
No, actually, I don't know that because remember we're talking about Korean barbecue. So remember, if we're talking about Korean barbecue, we're talking about sauces and spices that may have been in sugars that may have been put on this food before they were actually consumed. Now, I totally sure right now. Now, mind you, I'm no expert about it, but I think there's plenty of room in the study.
Patty, you're breaking up again. I know it's because you're driving, but you are inaudible at the moment. While you're fixing that problem...
while she's fixing, I want to elaborate that the study itself suggests that the effect is coming from the hyperglycemia, which is the fat in the blood, though, not the sugar in the blood. Because she's talking about sugar, and the study says it's actually the fat in the blood, right? Which decreases the endothelial function.
That's all good by me, right? If that's what was being said, that's fine.
I'm not saying it could have been. It could have been many other things, though. But I'm citing the study.
Could have been.
And of course, I mean Korean barbecue, rice, mayo, and oil. This is just a simple comparison.
Could have been the magic socks too, right? That's the third time you've been called that one.
I mean, SD, that's a little bit unfair to say, because with this logic you can bash any study basically.
Yeah.
You can say, oh, it was the magic socks, right?
Yep.
So basically, I can agree with you guys. You are saying the anecdote of the athlete is not good enough, and that's pretty much fair, because we never know. Maybe he was sponsored by the Apple industry or was the soy industry, as Lizzie pointed out, right? And this plays a huge effect, and I'm not denying this effect, but I think we were stuck too much on the anecdote, which I agree with. I said many times, sure, it's not good enough. Let's look at the actual outcome data. And now SD says, well, it could have been the magic shoes, and this argument can work against any study.
Not shoes. No, not shoes. It's magic socks.
Magic socks, that's correct, yeah.
You got to be very careful when you're talking about the footwear.
Sorry, yeah.
Nah, like I'm not trying to make fun of you. Like you seem alright, but
why would you want to make fun of me?
Hello?
I'm coming here to try to defend what I said.
Absolutely, that's why I said I'm not trying to make fun of you. Like, I mean, sometimes if people are stupid, I will make fun of them, but I haven't done that with you. I'm just trying to moderate this fairly. But if once
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, kind
Okay.
of. Just do a 1, 2.
Hello? Can you guys hear me? 1, 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Good enough.
All right. So here's the problem. I think that you are coming to your own conclusions about this study. You have just decided, well, it must be fat. When
No, it's stated in the study.
I don't care if it states it in the study.
Wait.
So studies are allowed to be wrong. So I think that it's important for you to study. I think it's important for you to look at the relationship between sugars and fat, because when you talk about something like hypoglycemia, which is what that actually is, you're talking about like a great deal of like the way sugar reacts to the body, and sugars and fat have a really close relationship as to how the body processes the two and to how one can affect the other or vice versa. So, I mean, I think that's something you should look into. You don't have to look into it. It's entirely your choice. However, I do think that I do think there's a bit of just confirmation bias happening with this. The study itself is talking about food products that have been like messed with, so they're not in as close to a raw form in which is safe to consume as possible. It's in the form of already made food, such as like Korean barbecue, which is like, I mean, you're talking about like, first of all, a broad subject of what that kind of food is, and secondly, you're talking about the fact that it's already been, cooked and slathered up with sauce and seasonings, whatever. Like, maybe you want to look for a study that has a lot less, what's the word? It starts with a V, I thought. Or I don't know, a lot less things going on.
Yeah, I agree with you, and there are many studies that I would like to cite that look at only saturated fat and inflammation, and they're looking for longer outcomes also. Saturated fat and CVD in specific, okay. But basically you're saying, oh, that study is not good enough, but I can tell you, if you try to look, this is one of the better studies out there where look at those two outcomes.
I am in fact telling you that the study is not good enough. That is in fact what I am telling you.
I mean, okay. On the basis on what? On the basis that they
I've already explained why.
Sure. So let's look at.
You are welcome to bring any other study to the table. Now, if I showed you a study in which showed you and said that the consumption of eggs, for example, does not actually change LDL levels in comparison to other groups, would you accept that study?
Of course, I'll have to read it, but do show me.
Right. And then you would be allowed to say that the study's not good enough if that was your opinion.
Well, I have to read it first and, see what's the exposure.
The exposure. What does that mean?
How much eggs they consumed and
How much
compared to what?
eggs?
Yeah.
They ate eggs every single day.
Bad Kid, although I'm supposed to be the moderator, and I think I've been very fair so far, do you mind if I participate in the discussion? If you don't want me to, then I'll just keep being
Oh,
the
you
moderator.
can, of course, yeah.
Yeah. I just want to say this last thing though.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, regardless of any study of any study, the position kind of dwells down to this. It really bubbles down to that. This is that as to whether something is healthy or not is kind of irrelevant as to what people should do. So you may have this virtue where you believe that people should always be healthy, people shouldn't do things in which are unhealthy, or at least for that matter, risky. And people like me don't necessarily agree with that. So I think people should do things in which makes them happy, as long as they're not necessarily hurting any other human being. And as to whether they are healthy things, is irrelevant to their life, or if they're risky, is irrelevant to whether that necessarily makes them happy or not. So you can say, hey, you shouldn't eat meat because it's not healthy. And then if I ask you, well, can I eat candy? Well, candy's not healthy. Should I eat it? Well, if you say yes or no to that, depending on that, well then there comes something where there's a problem there. It's not actually about health, which for you it may be something like ethics, which would be a totally different conversation to the health debate.
It wouldn't be, but I would like to focus mostly on the health aspect of it, because let's try to get away from ideology and health, because like I think SD was kind of surprised with me. SD, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
I think he was kind of surprised when he say, "Oh wait, the vegans said that you actually can eat some meat and be healthy." Like you were surprised that I made that claim.
Well,
I'm not.
Because
I'm
it's
not really.
because
personally
I'm
not
not
surprised.
thinking. I'm not thinking if you eat meat, you will be necessarily unhealthy.
Right.
First, we need to unpack to what type of meat, how much per day, how many eggs per day. Because, for example, fish, in my opinion, is health promoting.
Okay, that's all fine. Since I've relinquished being the moderator, let me see who else can moderate this, because if I'm gonna get involved in the debate, it's not fair that I also act as the moderator. Who's in here?
I will be right back for a minute before we continue, okay?
Yeah, that's fine, absolutely.
I would really love to unpack it further. Be right back.
Yeah, no problem, take your time. Who else can... I mean, we've got Conan, we've got Patty, and we've got Zoom, so there's a couple of other...
I'm stepping out, so I could moderate it. I'm
that's
not
that's
interested
alright.
in debating.
It's not because it's going to be a shouting match or whatever, it's just because it's not fair that I was moderating earlier and now I'm part of the debate, so I'd like somebody else to moderate. I think Zoom is in here, like maybe he could do it, I don't know if he's up for it or not.
I could stay for a few hours, but I would need like a heads up on what's being debated. Is it just like nutrition in general, or is it like the moral obligation of nutrition? And like,
well, I'm gonna turn it into that. But
okay.
Bad Kid is AFK at the moment because he maybe he's gone to take a leak or something, which is something I'll need to do shortly too. Because I am recording, right? So I don't want anybody to think that because like I was moderating earlier in the recording that I'm continuing to moderate. It just seems fairer if somebody else does it.
Alright, I just have to do something real quick for like a second, and then I'll be back to moderate if you want that. And this is being recorded, right?
I am currently recording, yes.
Okay, yeah, just making sure.
With consent.
Alright. So. Yeah, and so I'll just be real quick, and then yeah, I'll be back.
Yeah, take your time. It's no rush. It's actually quite nice to get a VC in here earlier, because normally it kicks off at about midnight, and I'm usually asleep at midnight, so it's all good. Patty, did you have like anything left to say? Like, I apologize. I apologize if I
No,
cut
I
you
can
off.
tell you're excited to talk to him because.
Not really. I just want to. I just want to get my sort of 2 cents worth in, really. But I wasn't able to earlier because I was moderating.
Yeah.
So.
I just think that the health thing always comes for me. When I've watched, no problem. For me, when I've watched health debates, especially with people like Vegan Gains, which this guy is not at all anything like Vegan Gains. Like, it's been a pissing contest about, well, who's healthier and who does this or does that. It always seems like a purity contest when health debates happen. I've never been interested in health debates because, like, at the end of the day, it's kind of like this, like what I mentioned before, is just that if one's going to argue about health, and I ask them, well, is it okay for me to eat Oreos? Is it okay for me to not take a shower every day or something like that? Is it okay for me to do this and that? And then person's like, well, yeah, it's okay for you to like never take showers, or it's okay for you to eat lots of candy as long as you're vegan. It's okay to do that. Then to me, it's that no,
I'm not
not you,
saying
not you,
that,
not you,
Patty.
not you, not you, not
Okay,
you. I'm talking about somebody.
Yeah,
I'm talking about somebody else.
wasn't talking about you.
Yeah, I'm talking about something else. If the person, and I'm talking about people like Vegan Gains, for example, if the person is like that, right, then there's something else going on there. It's not a health thing at that point. It is a ethics thing. It's a you can literally kill yourself as long as you don't hurt the animals thing.
Yeah, but this is why I'm trying to be as fair as possible and to stay from the moral side of things when we discuss health, because not necessarily all the animal products out there are unhealthy, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Even though they don't support the ideology of veganism, but I think we need to be really smart when we talk about health.
No, I don't think that there. I don't think that you. Sorry, I'm like trying to take off my shirt. I don't think that you. I don't think you're saying the very negative things in which I've just said, like about Vegan Gains. I just think, like I said before, I just think that it's fine and dandy to be like a health nerd or like really into that conversation. I just think at the end of the day, like if you're a vegan, it is going to boil down to, well, in that case, you're saying I can eat fish. I can eat a little bit of beef. I can eat a little bit of lamb. And there's going to be like that one vegan. And I'm sure you've like been through it before, where there's like this one vegan who comes around and says, absolutely not. It is not okay to tell people that they could do that as long as they're being healthy. I'm sure you've like had experiences like that before.
Well, okay. So it kind of depends, I will tell you why no, in my personal world, why I prefer to exclude. And I'm biased, obviously, as probably you guys are, to defend your diet if you're passionate about that. So
we all have
basically,
biases.
yeah, so basically I was eating 5 or 6 eggs per day, okay? And then the doctor that was in charge with diet in our team, he say, hey, you can eat eggs, you don't have to be vegan, but my guy, you have to go for 3 eggs per week. And I said, okay, well, I'm gonna go for 3 eggs per week, and I'm gonna replace the protein from eggs from a plant-based source, right? And then I find myself in a position, well, I'm buying a bunch of eggs every week and I cannot even eat them. Like, they're gonna go bad. It's just not practical for me to eat like 3 eggs per week, So for me personally, it makes sense to completely exclude the eggs because it's just not practical in my daily life to buy them, you know. But I can surely find somebody that's totally fine with eating 2 or 3 eggs per week. I'm just not.
Yeah,
If I
I'm sure.
eat them, I want to eat 5.
Mm.
SD, how many eggs per day do you eat?
I don't eat eggs. Sorry, you're gonna have to do the same for me that I did for you a minute ago and excuse me for 2 minutes. I'll be back.
Sure. Yeah. So for me, I'm not saying that 100% plant-based is a must when it comes to health. I'm saying for me personally, I prefer to eliminate because of practicality. I don't want to buy products that I'm not going to use. Like I used to drink more than 1 liter milk per day, you know, and then the
Mm-hmm.
doctors say, oh, you should lower that amount. Obviously, you're drinking a lot of milk, so lower that to a glass per day. And then that didn't fit well with me because once I start drinking milk, I'm a big guy. I can drink, you know, more. So it was kind of like either I do it or I don't do it. But that doesn't mean that if I have a milk or an egg here and there, it's unhealthy.
Yeah, no, I understand you stopped basically because you picked up the vegan thing. Well, with the eggs thing, it was again more than that. Um, you you know, like you said, you were essentially wasting eggs, which, like, obviously, no, you don't want to waste eggs.
Yeah. And I didn't went vegan necessarily because of the ideology behind it, just because I was competing in professional sports and
So wait, are
you
you
know,
essentially what they would call plant-based? You don't
um,
really hold like a big vegan ideology about it. You
I
just
I I like the ideology behind it. I think it's a good thing to take care about the animals and to give them a moral consideration. But this was not the main reason that
well, you
pushed me
can give
to.
more. You can give animals moral consideration and still eat them. That moral consideration is just a different level of moral consideration.
Yeah, I guess so. You know, I just don't want to argue with the morals because I think I don't have good points to make, and I think other people maybe have better points to make when it comes
No, I get
to
that.
morals.
I get
I
that.
just don't understand why SD and the others were surprised when we say, hey, you know, you can eat some meat here and there and be healthy as long as your diet is predominantly plants and
They were
healthy
probably
plant foods.
surprised. No, that doesn't apply to me, by
Yeah,
the
I mean,
way. I have
SD was giving me shit
yeah,
about that kind
that,
of in the chat. He was like,
yeah,
well, basically he concedes. And I mean, how can I concede on something that I
that you
didn't
actually
think in the
believe.
first place? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that doesn't apply to me, by the way. I am the opposite. I can't eat mostly plants in my diet. I eat a lot of meats in my diet. It's the only way that I can be comfortable and healthy in my own body, um, because of medical issues. So,
Right. Yeah,
I'm
that's respectable if there is medical issues
yeah.
that you
But
know, especially
furthermore,
for
yeah.
ladies, especially for ladies. You know, actually, a pescatarian diet, which of course is a plant-based diet, seems to do pretty well on the ladies. Now, I don't know why, I don't know the specifics, but it's true. Like here, Lizzie is, for
It
example,
probably has a lot to do with the fish. Fish has
I
a
mean,
lot of
100%. I think it's 100% to do with the fish. But like, I kind of don't understand why Lizzie hates me so much. And she's like, "Oh, this guy is vegan," and I actually fucking support her diet. I support, for example, Nate Diaz is a pescatarian who is an MMA fighter, and I think his diet is brilliant. So I think it's kind of unfair that you guys give me shit when I say, "Hey, fish can be health promoting." Oh,
Oh,
thank
look,
you. Okay.
I'm not gonna give you crap about it. You're the first vegan actually who I've like just, and I usually don't talk about it. Like I don't talk about my health situation because like I think that a lot of vegans think that they have a right to know their interlocutor's health situation, which I think is just nasty and weird. Do you know what I mean? Um, so like I usually don't talk about it, but yeah, I just me personally I have
You're lagging, Patty. Yeah, and I'll tell you why I was wrong on heme iron, if you want to hear it, Lizzie.
Hello.
Yeah, hey. So, Lizzie, I was wrong on heme iron because the whole meta-analysis that I was based my claim on was completely wrong. Yeah, but the whole argument went apart because the study was proven to be wrong by the authors themselves. They say, hey, our findings were wrong. So, when the study is wrong, I can no longer make that claim, So I've retracted my claim on heme iron. As for right now, maybe in the future we have more data that proves that heme iron is good or it's bad. But as for right now, I remain agnostic because I don't know. It may just be, it may not be. But yeah, Patty muted herself. She really wanted to talk.
Are you talking to Lizzie?
SD. Yeah, I was talking to Lizzie for something, that happened long ago, and it kind of escalated. But I've apologized.
I saw it, and I saw your apology, and there we go. That's all fine.
Yeah, I don't think I should escalate like that, and that's why I like to discuss with you guys on voice, because when we chat and when somebody gets angry, as you saw today, this other guy and Antifa, they were pretty much throwing insults at each other in the chat, which is not necessary.
I agree.
SD, I have a question for you. When I was discussing in the chat and when I made a statement,
Okay.
that basically your diet can include some meat, and you say I basically conceded
I saw
the
your
claim.
response.
Yeah, but why you were surprised about that? Did you expect that I'm gonna go all strict and everything? I mean, I prefer all strict out of practicality, but that doesn't mean
Well,
if
I mean,
you...
I don't know you from a bar of soap, right? So, like, if you're accepting that a diet can include some meat and still be healthy, then you're not advocating for a vegan diet, are you?
I'm advocating, as I said in my first message when I came into your server, for a plant-based diet.
And
Which would include...
What does that mean? Like, does plant-based include some amount of meat?
Yes.
Okay, well, so, like, you could take the typical Sunday roast, right, that most families have in several different countries. I imagine wherever you're living is one of them. There's going to be more, like, vegetables and plant-based matter on the plate than there is meat. Like, I mean, that's just pretty normal. But, I mean, like, if plant-based includes meat, then, like, I think you're confusing terms here.
No, I would like to elaborate on that. So plant-based diets for me would be the vegetarian diet, the pescatarian diet, and even to some degree the classical Mediterranean diet. This diet is also considered to be a plant-based one, since it consists of 70% or more plants. I am a vegan. I don't eat meat and any animal products. For health reasons and out of practicality, since I've explained to Patty, I was eating 5 eggs per day, and then, well, the sport doctors say, well, lower that to 3 per week.
That's compatible with vegetarianism, but...
No, yeah, and then I went down to 3 eggs, and I was vegetarian, and I was like, well, 3 eggs is not cutting it for me. It's just no point for me buying the eggs and then they going bad, so I'm just gonna eliminate the eggs and the dairy products out of my
yeah, I heard that.
My diet.
I was here when you said that. That's fine. You said that. So, like,
yeah. I mean, if you eat here and there,
what's the claim supposed to be then? Because, like, I mean, I'm not vegan, right? I eat meat.
Yeah.
So,
well, we can argue. Well, if you want me to poke holes on why meat is bad, we should focus on saturated fat and cholesterol.
Why?
That's where the big problems are coming.
No, right, okay. Like, I guess I should get to my point then, because This is what my contention is going to be, and I appreciate you saying that you don't mind me getting involved in the conversation, even though I was moderating earlier. So I honestly do appreciate that. But let's say I grant you everything you want me to grant you, right? Let's say that eating meat, any animal products, whether it's cheese, dairy, anything, right? It's bad for your health. So, do you think that people are under like any sort of obligation, be it moral, legal, or otherwise, to be as healthy as they possibly can be?
No, that's a personal choice.
Right. So this isn't going to be a persuasive argument, then. Do you think that people should not drink wine?
This is a personal choice. I think people shouldn't smoke cigarettes, but they still do, and even though they're conscious that probably cigarettes are bad, but they still do.
Absolutely, and I'm one of them. So do you think that there's any kind of obligation to not do things that are less than the best for your health? Do you think that people shouldn't go bungee jumping?
Right. Like, I think you were bashing me with the bungee jump argument before you even heard my argument, and I'm gonna say no. Like, if you say to yourself, for example, I'm not comparing that to the meat, but if you say, hey, I want to drink a lot of alcohol, I want to smoke a lot of cigarettes, and you don't have the obligation to be healthy. This is your own body. You decide, if you want to eat healthy or unhealthy.
Sure. So even if I grant you everything you want me to grant you, you still don't have an argument then?
Well, then we agree, don't we?
We agree that you don't have an argument. Yes, we agree on
that. Argument for what? To make you vegan?
No, your whole claim is like on the health grounds, right? We established that earlier.
Yeah.
And nobody's under any sort of obligation to be as healthy as they possibly can.
Yeah, I'm not arguing morals. Okay. I'm here to discuss food, and you were thinking...
All right, that's fine.
You're approaching me on the wrong angle, man, because you were thinking that I'm advocating for the vegan diet based on health. And sure, this diet improves health compared to many other diets, but you don't have the obligation to do it. Okay. What I'm interested to talk about is the health values of the food short term and long term.
So
and I would stay out of the ideology. We can talk about red meat, we can talk about fish, and we can, show actual results if it's healthy or unhealthy. This doesn't have to do anything with the ideology.
That's not going to be useful. So you don't actually care. You don't care about my health, right?
I do care. I do care about anybody's health, but I believe it's your responsibility to care.
Yeah, but what if I don't? Right. I'm lighting up a cigarette right now. Okay.
Sure. If you're gonna do that, I'm gonna take my chewing tobacco. Then hold on. So we are equal,
Oh, so you don't care about health either. Like this is why this is what I'm getting at. Like it's a false pretense. Like why would you come in with saying this is the best thing for your health and then pretend that you care about it and then like 10 seconds later acknowledge that you don't?
Wait.
I'm waiting.
Let me address that. I did care more about my health when I was competing in professional sports. Right now, to be honest, I'm eating. I'm still vegan out of practicality, but I'm not eating as strict when it comes to the quality of the product.
What are you eating that couldn't reasonably be classed as vegan?
Oh, nothing. I'm 100% plant-based. Almond milk. The vegans would argue that the bees are being exploited, and the.
That's not usually what the vegans argue.
Well, they did bash me on the almond milk, though. I'm gonna tell you that.
Yeah, you can find some. I wasn't saying that nobody did it, but that's not going to be the typical argument.
I'm not eating anything that wouldn't be considered vegan, but I would also eat, you know, some fried potatoes here and there or something, and I'm not gonna claim those are healthy. And at this point in my life, I'm a little bit loose when it comes to my nutrition, because I'm not competing professionally, and I don't see anything wrong with that. And it's kind of unfair that you try to put me as this vegan defender.
Neither do I. I don't see anything wrong with you eating fried potatoes either, right? I eat them. But it's like earlier on, you were arguing for the health benefits, which I don't accept is actually the case. But if you want to say that it is the case, I'll just concede, right? I'll cave in right now. Vegan diet is the best one. It makes you live to 10,000 years old, right? Is anybody...
No. Hold on. Because we don't have evidence to present that the vegans do live longer. However, we have evidence that the vegan diet, as long as other plant-based diets, offer some protection against heart diseases.
Yeah, but who
this
cares?
Is what we have.
Who cares?
Sure.
It doesn't matter.
You just want to grant it. You just want to grant it.
Yes, it's granted. I'm granting it to you. Yes, right now.
Sure.
I'm granting it to you. Who cares?
Sure,
it doesn't
happy.
matter. There's no moral obligation or legal obligation or any other kind of obligation that you want to stipulate that means that we, quote-unquote, should be vegan, right?
Not on the basis of health. On the basis of moral, there are plenty of people that would like to discuss.
If you want to do morality, I'm your guy, right? But you've
sure, I would love to discuss. What do you mean I've conceded on health? I can't concede on anything that I don't hold the opposite view.
Well, you just said that, like, it's not a moral obligation to be...
Yeah. Right? Yeah, I agree with that. I never hold the view that it is.
Okay, so what's the point of the argument, then?
The point of the argument is, as I said here, I'm here to see how you guys view the food in terms of health value. That's what I'm interested to talk to. I'm not trying to make a big argument that will turn you vegan. I don't think I'm the right guy. Maybe I can show you why the plant-based diets are good, you know. But as we discussed, we are not obligated to do that. Maybe if somebody wants to improve their health and they think, oh, plant-based diet can be a good thing for me because I'm eating large quantities of meat and I want to transition to a plant-based diet, yeah, sure, then maybe I can give tips out of experience and out of the research I've done on how to do it properly.
Anecdotes, right?
Well, anecdotes and...
even if I accept them, this will never get you to where you want to be.
Sure, but we can also look at outcome data if you would like, but I think it's pointless because you already agreed.
It is pointless because, like, nobody's under any
because
obligation.
You don't care.
I didn't say I don't care. Nobody's under any obligation to be as healthy as possible, are they?
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, some people are. As I mentioned earlier, the athletes,
they're
they
not
should
under
try
an
to
obligation.
Stay...
That's just a choice that they make.
Well, depends how you see it, because health means your ability to stay disease-free and injury-free. And I can tell you, in sports, I've seen people getting a big injury and then not able to recover, and basically they can't continue further.
What percentage of the population is that?
The athletes or the people that get injured?
Include both.
Depends. I cannot give you the certain estimate, but for them would be beneficial
the global
to
population,
to stay.
like, you know, how many of them do you think are like professional athletes?
I don't know.
It's gonna be at least 0.01 and then a couple of dots after it. Right, so you're into like it's like Dread said, actually, to be fair to him. You're like extremely niche topic. And
yeah, maybe I want to talk about that because I've been in this field my whole life, right?
Well, that's fine.
So that's what I'm interested
I have
to
no
discuss.
interest in being an athlete, right? So unless you want to convince me to be an athlete, and it's required that I have a plant-based diet to do that, then I don't know what your point is.
No, you're coming at a weird angle again. You think because I'm vegan and I try to make everybody else vegan. I think there is a moral obligation for you to be vegan, but not based on health and.
Well, okay. You just said it. What's the moral obligation?
Oh, I don't want to discuss that. I'm not equipped to discuss that. There is plenty of other guys in the vegan world server that want to discuss that.
I'm in vegan world, and I've got several recordings of me debating with other people from vegan world. So you don't get to just say that there's a moral obligation for me to do it, and then say, "Oh, but I don't want to discuss it." Right? That's dumb.
Well, I don't want to discuss it because I'm not specialized in it.
But you want to assert it anyway. I think that there's a moral obligation for you to not be vegan.
Yeah, unpack it for me then.
No, why? I just get to
you don't want
assert it.
to?
Of course. Like, do you realize what you just said?
Yeah, I'm saying I don't want to defend this view.
Okay, so I don't have to defend mine. I can just assert it.
Sure. And I'm not here to debate you on that.
Okay, well, that's up to you.
Yeah.
But keep in mind,
I mean, I don't know why you chose me. Gonna show on the recording what? That I don't want to debate you on the morals?
You made an assertion and said that you don't want to defend it.
Yeah, I never defended that. Never ever.
No, you said that you don't want to defend it. You just want to make the assertion without having to defend it. Do you think that looks good?
Well, I don't care how it looks. Do you defend all your values? Do you defend all your values? I personally don't. Why would my moral be higher than yours, SD?
It wouldn't.
Sure, and I'm not a very moral person. Okay. But I do think that
the vegans will be interested to hear that then.
Well, they know about that. And sorry, I lost my mind for a second. Where I was going.
Are you sure it was only for a second? Look, I don't know what the point is. Like, you know, when you say that, like, you want to discuss whether the vegan diet, you know, quote unquote diet, you can define that however you want, right? When you want to say that it's better for human health or whatever, even if I concede, I give you everything you want on that, you still got no case. You're still standing there holding an empty bag.
Sure, okay. I mean, when you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. That's it. Given that you conceding that it's healthier.
Even if I concede that it's healthier, you've already acknowledged that there's no obligation to be as healthy as possible.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. I think the vegans are going to be quite interested to hear that.
But they do know my position really clearly.
Alright, I'm done. Who's modding? Zoom's still in it? Yes, he is. Good. Anybody else want to go ahead?
Yeah, we can unmute Carefree.
Yeah, if you want.
Alright. So, I can unmute Carefree, and I guess you guys can just, talk as you will. He's still there?
He's still in the room, but I don't know if he wants to mic up or not.
Alright, well, I guess if Carefree isn't here at the moment, I'm not sure if anyone else wants to, or is
I think he said he was going to watch some football or something, but...
No, okay.
Should we ping him, or...?
It's up to you. I've handed the moderation over because, like I said earlier, it's not fair that I moderate and debate. But let's see what happens.
All right, just left one ping. If he doesn't respond like soon, we can just
Wait, who?
Yeah, and Patty's here. Patty wanted to talk, but you lost connection, I believe, at some point.
Oh, I was just saying that yeah, I don't have any interest in being vegan. I don't agree with the vegan position, but even if I wanted to, I wouldn't have been able. I wouldn't be able to.
Sure, yeah. I mean, when you can't, you can't, and I'm not the person to force anybody into changing their diet. Everything that I want to discuss is health value from the food, long and short term.
Just to be clear, though, BadKid, like, you don't actually have an argument for veganism, right? That's what you're saying, isn't it? That's how I'm understanding what you're saying.
To convert somebody to being vegan,
just an argument for veganism.
I can argue on the health basis, depends to what you compare it to.
Yeah, but you've already conceded on that.
That it's not your obligation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
Okay, cool. I mean, if that's not a concession, I don't know what is. So.
Denise, why are you sharing gay TSA stuff? I don't even know if he's here.
He's in the room, but who knows what he's doing. Also, I'm not moderating, so you don't have to listen to me, you need to listen to Zoom.
Yeah, I don't know what Denise is doing, but it doesn't seem like it's
He being weird.
All right. You know, that's what he does.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's the end of the discussion. It doesn't sound like carefreeism is on the mic.
Yeah, unless Patty wants to continue, or Bristoling wants to show some studies that he said are available.
I don't really know what else we would talk about, to be honest with you.
Yeah, there's just nothing left. Like, I mean, all avenues have been exhausted.
Yeah. We just have to accept that saturated fat is a health food and that cholesterol promotes heart health.
Well, I mean...
Based on what?
There are people who say that.
Evidence.
Can you present them to me?
There's too much to present, man.
Yeah, just one will cut it for me.
There is evidence to present for that.
I'm just joking, BadKid. I'm
actually not joking. Okay. Like, there are citations that could be provided for that, but you're just gonna reject them, right?
There are
that's
some,
wrong.
But
I'm gonna look at it and I'm gonna show you exactly what the exposure was and why the outcome was positive or negative. There was a new study, by the way, SD, that just popped like 1 week ago or something, that stated that basically that saturated fat is not related to CVD. And when we unpacked that study, actually they well, it was not a study, it was a review of the studies that already existed and the meta-analysis that already existed. And what it ended up happening is that they misrepresented the information given from two studies. Like, for example, they wrote, Hooper 2020 study find that there is no significant association. But if you open Hooper 2020, there actually is significant association.
Okay.
So,
But
I
you've
accept all the
already
studies, but
conceded
I
that it
have to
doesn't
read them.
matter, right? Doesn't matter, does it? You've already said that.
It does matter if you care. If you don't care, of course it doesn't matter.
Okay, so that couldn't possibly translate into an argument that concludes in therefore go vegan, right?
No.
Okay, there you go.
I thought you guys would laugh way harder at that.
I was about to laugh, but then I thought we should probably, give Big, sorry, what's the name? Big Kid PK.
Bad kid.
Bad Kid, sorry, not Big Kid. I apologize.
But why would you laugh?
Oh, because I made a joke. So the thing I said before was just me like trying to be funny and like push your buttons.
Well, I mean,
Well, Zoom, what do you
you
think
could.
about it?
I mean, I actually haven't looked as much into like saturated fat and cholesterol. I mean, it seems intuitive to me that eating just some amounts of those is relatively harmless, and that like it ultimately what's going to determine your health is going to be an entire lifestyle more than like a single food. But I mean, at the same time, I would say it seems conceivable that like eating high amounts of saturated fats could cause heart disease and maybe some other obesity related diseases like eating most foods would.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
And where is the high amount of saturated fat coming from?
yeah, I mean, I understand that. Like, it definitely would come from like animal products.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when somebody doesn't mind, you've got no argument left, right?
Well, again, you're confused, I think, at the initial point.
Why
because
am I
you're
confused?
thinking I'm coming here to convince you to be vegan on the basis of health, which I'm not here to do that. In fact, I'm not here to turn anybody vegan. I just want to defend why plant-based diets have health benefits, and also to defend the point why in this very niche space they're beneficial.
Okay, that's fine. You don't have an argument. You've admitted. I think this is the fourth time. So, with that, what I will do, I'll stop the recording. Let's hit stop.